It's games like this that make me kind of sad as a Bulls fan because you realize that this team had so much potential only if the team was able to play together longer and build that chemistry together and not have Lavine nearly out for 4 weeks. And, this team would have at least been in a position to make the play-in. Now, they're not out of it yet. A win like this against a Hornets team that they're competing against directly certainly helps, but the chances are still incredibly low. You're talking the Bulls have to win out for the season in their remaining 6 games and have teams like the Wizards and Pacers and Hornets, of course, go on some losing streaks. But I will say, as long as the Bulls can continue playing like this and closing out the season strong, even if it means it's in a losing effort and missing the playoffs, it bodes well for them for their free agency chances, because I do think a lot of people are going to factor in that Lavine missed considerable time at the end of the season, and the team, of course, did make a mid-season trade, which historically mid-season trades take a bit of time to start showing results. But either way, a good win for the Bulls tonight, a commanding win, which is needed when you have guys like Lavine and Vucevic back in the lineup. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Before we get into the video, make sure you check out my hot takes video from earlier today. I have a lot of great hot takes for this upcoming week, and we've got more already that are continuing to be streamed in. So feel free to leave your hot takes in any of my videos in the comments, and I will be sure to include them in next week's video. But anyway, about this game, let me take a step back actually. I uploaded a video earlier this week when it was announced that Lavine had cleared the NBA's health and safety protocol and could return to the lineup. And that I talked about, was it worth actually Lavine playing for those last 7 games despite being cleared, given the fact that the Bulls are likely out of play-in contention. But seeing him tonight, which let's be real, he was a bit rusty, but even for Lavine, rusty is still pretty good. But seeing him tonight in the lineup, getting some run, showing that this Bulls team can compete when the roster is fully healthy. Obviously, they're still very inconsistent, I know that, and their defense is still a problem. That's never changed. But with Lavine and Vucevic back, the energy was different to start this game off. The guys actually looked like they wanted to win, that they wanted to play hard despite the slim chance of them actually making a push for the playoffs. The Bulls came out strong, and they just really stuck with it throughout the game. The Hornets did make a little run there in the second quarter, but the Bulls came out and took over in the second half, outscoring the Hornets 37-21 in the third quarter. They had 2 30-plus point quarters in this game and actually held the team to below 100 points in a game. And get this, the Bulls shot better from 3-point shooting tonight, shooting 48.6%. After struggling so much from deep recently, it was really great to see that. I mean, it certainly helps when you have Vucevic and Lavine in. Those are obviously 2 really good 3-point shooters. The Bulls also had 8 blocks tonight and 10 steals, so even on the defensive end, they were looking solid tonight. Still, 17 turnovers though. The Bulls have to address that. I still can't understand how they allow so many turnovers for a professional basketball team, but they passed the ball decently well with 33 assists. They were dominating on the boards with 56 rebounds in total. I mean, again, that's the benefit when you have guys like Vucevic and Tice who are strong at boxing guys out, especially on the offensive end, something the Bulls really didn't have before the trade deadline. When you have Tice and Vucevic combining for 10 offensive rebounds alone, good things are going to happen when you allow your team to get those type of second chance opportunities. So, as I mentioned, Lavine was a bit rusty in his first game back after being quarantined for weeks. He didn't shoot the ball that well, and he had turned the ball over 4 times in the 27 minutes that he played. But even by the second half, he started looking a little bit better. He finished the game with 13 points, shooting 5 for 11 and 3 for 8 from 3. Coby White, similar results as well. Not the best shooting night, was also 3 for 8 from 3, but he's still been decent at facilitating. A lot to learn still, obviously, but I really like seeing the progress and growth from Coby ever since being reinserted into the starting lineup. Also, Markkanen had a decent game off the bench. I mean, only 10 points, which sounds weird to say that that's a decent game for him, given what we were used to seeing from him when he first entered into the league, but here we are. Anyway, he's been more aggressive on the boards, which is good. 10 points, 7 rebounds, shooting 4 for 5 from the field. And Garrett Temple also had a really solid game after being in the starting lineup throughout the entire time that Lavine was out. He comes up with some big minutes off the bench with 12 points and some key defensive plays too. And we saw another solid game from Patrick Williams. I would still like for him to be a little more aggressive on offense. There's still a lot of plays where he pump fakes and has the ability to drive to the basket. He runs in for a little bit, but as soon as the help defense starts closing out, he kicks it out to someone else. Just take that in, my guy. Who cares if you get blocked or you miss the shot? Just start making those plays. Over time, you'll get more and more confident in making them. But either way, P. Will had himself a nice game, 11 points and 9 rebounds. He had the highest box plus minus for the team at plus 19 on the night. And then, of course, Vooch. Picking up right where he left off after being out for 2 games. A strong night with 29 points, shooting 12 for 24 from the field, 5 for 7 from 3. He had 14 rebounds, but more importantly, those 6 offensive boards, key in getting the Bulls those second chance opportunities. 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. I think what I have liked seeing from Vucevic in his last 2 games, this one and the one that he had right before he got injured, is that he's been a little more physical on defense. His lateral quickness obviously still isn't great, and I don't think it ever will be, but he's been more physical in using his body to clog up the paint, which has been great to see. Obviously, would still love for him to be more impactful on defense, but we always knew that this was not the case with Vucevic when we traded for him back at the trade deadline. He's just not known for his defense. A quick look at the other games tonight, since they just recently concluded, and not good news for the Bulls as the Wizards narrowly defeated the Raptors, which the Raptors losing is good for the Bulls, but we really need the Wizards to lose more. On top of that, the Pacers also beat the Hawks, a game that I really thought the Hawks would easily win. So despite the win, the Bulls don't really make much traction in the standings other than moving a half game ahead of the Raptors for 11th in the East, but they still remain 3.5 games behind the Wizards, 4 games behind the Pacers, and 5 games behind the Hornets, again with just 6 games remaining on the schedule. So still not good odds to make the play-in. So as for Bulls fans, we shouldn't be getting excited about anything because it's not going to happen. Even with these next 6 games, if we were to win all of those, which again is not going to happen because the Bulls are still going to be playing against good teams, but even if they were to win the rest of their games this season, they're likely still going to miss the play-in tournament. But what we can be excited for is that if this team can show up like they did tonight consistently for the next 6 games, even if some of them end up being in losing efforts, because again, they're playing against good teams, it will at least show somewhat of a promising sign going into the offseason. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of the game though. Was it something or nothing? Let me know in the comments, and as always guys, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in guys, and I will catch you in the next one.